Assalamu alaikum. Today we have a fun topic. We're talking about Bitcoin price predictions, and this time it will be in the form of commentary on Ark Invest's recent Bitcoin price prediction, which I suspect will be rather surprising to many of you. Let's start with some accountability first. In July of 2021, when the price of Bitcoin was around 39,000, I gave you my prediction for the price of Bitcoin for the remaining half of 2021, and it was as follows. There is a 20% chance that the price of Bitcoin is below the low 30s by the end of 2021. There's a 50% chance that the price of Bitcoin is above $55,000 by the end of 2021. And I see a 20% chance that the price of Bitcoin is above $70,000 by the end of 2021. In fact, I would not be shocked if we saw a price that is close to $100,000 for Bitcoin by the end of 2021. The actual price of Bitcoin ended up reaching a high of around $70,000 and ended the year around $46,000. So I'd say the high probability range in my forecast was pretty spot on, while the actual high watermark was closer to 70,000, not 100,000. This time around, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin's price forecast for the year 2030. Specifically, we're going to look at Ark Invest's recently released forecast and see if it holds merit. Before I go any further, if you're new here, my name is Rakan Kayali, founder of Practical Islamic Finance, where we help people globally build wealth in a halal way. You can follow my crypto and stock portfolios by becoming a member. Link to do this is in the description of this video. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, as we are Practical Islamic Finance after all. With regards to the commonly cited objection to the halal nature of investing in cryptocurrencies in general, and Bitcoin in particular, which is that it is accused of being used primarily to facilitate illegal activity, a recent study found crypto is used much less than fiat currencies for criminal purposes. This is according to the key findings of a recent report by Europol, the European Union Agency for Law Enforcement Cooperation. As a result of this, and in light of the many benefits I see Bitcoin offering humanity in general, I am even more confident now than I've ever been really with regards to the permissibility of investing in Bitcoin from a halal perspective. If we're talking about the utility of Bitcoin, specifically as it relates to storing and transferring value, the trend has been undeniably positive for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is increasing its market share as a global settlement network. Its cumulative transfer volume increased by 463% in 2021 compared to 2020. Annual transfers of Bitcoin increased from 2.3 trillion in 2020 to 13.1 trillion in 2021. Bitcoin's annual settlement volume has surpassed Visa's payment volume. Also, as a store of value, Bitcoin is increasingly attracting institutional holders. Exchange-traded products, countries, and corporations held around 8% of Bitcoin's supply as of November 2021. So if you buy into the concept of Bitcoin and that it has the potential to be a major asset class like gold, then there is still a lot of room to grow for Bitcoin. It currently has a market cap of close to 1 trillion, actually 800 million as of the date of recording this video, compared to gold's 10 trillion, global equities 100 trillion, and a market cap for global real estate of 220 trillion. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Ark's actual price prediction for Bitcoin for the year 2030 is more than $1 million per coin, specifically 1.36 million, which is a near 35x return from its price on the day I'm recording this video, which is near $40,000. The way Ark gets to this price prediction is it assumes Bitcoin takes 50% of gold's market capitalization, 5% of cash of S&P 500 companies, so similar to Tesla. Other companies start including Bitcoin in their treasuries, 2.55% of institutional assets, 5% of global high net worth wealth, 1% of nation state treasury reserves, 25% of US bank settlement volumes, 10% of emerging market currency, and 50% of global remittances. Now, looking at these numbers, I think none of them seem wildly off the mark, with the exception to 10% of emerging market currency, which I think is a bit too generous to expect in 8 years' time, as well as 50% of global remittances volume. I think this is more possible if you're talking about cryptocurrencies in general, but Bitcoin individually, I don't think will have 50% share of global remittances. The rest of the percentages seem possible by 2030. But even if we assumed these two categories, that is emerging market currency and global remittances, were zero in 2030, that only shaves off 3 trillion from the estimated market cap of 28 trillion if everything else goes as Ark predicts. In fact, let's double this discount to 6 trillion to account for overestimation in other categories. This would get us to a Bitcoin market cap of 22 trillion. Considering Bitcoin has a market cap of $800 billion today, that would be a 27x increase. So 40,000, which is the price of Bitcoin today, multiplied by 27, gives you $1.1 million. Now let's round down. I think a $1 million Bitcoin in 8 years is possible. All the categories that Bitcoin is assumed to hold market share in by 2030, it already holds market share in. So it's just a matter of how fast this market share grows. Accordingly, I am invested heavily in this cryptocurrency. That said, this video is not to be understood as personalized investment advice. Make sure to do your own due diligence before making investment decisions. If you'd like to follow my crypto portfolio and stock portfolio, you can do so by becoming a member. Link to do so is in the description of this video. Like and subscribe. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.